Yo, yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. Was good. So I just came out with my new bad boy membership program. This one's called How to Have a Tight Mouthpiece, all right? So a lot of guys was hitting me up. They was like, yo, man, you got to do one about the mouthpiece, all right? So guys, listen, I'm going to show you a quick clip. And after this clip, make sure you click the link below so you can join the bad boy membership so you can hear this entire program plus all the other audio/video programs on the bad boy membership. All right, so check this out. What does it mean to have a tight mouthpiece? Why is it important to have a tight mouthpiece? I'm going to also talk about 4 ways that you can have a tight mouthpiece. And then I'm going to talk about the main thing that helps you with your mouthpiece. All right, so we're going to go through a lot of stuff in this program. And I suggest that you take notes, listen to this program over and over again, because the game is crazy heavy in this one. Okay, it's extremely heavy. Okay, this one right here actually took me a while to put together because it's so much, you know, detailed information when it comes to this type of stuff. Because it's the thing, you know, when it comes to you having that mouthpiece, that's a big thing, a big part of the game that helps you, you know, get shit that you want. You feel what I'm saying? So let's just jump right into this, right? So first thing we're going to talk about is, what does it mean to have a tight mouthpiece? So what does it mean to have a tight mouthpiece? So to have a tight mouthpiece is basically to get what you want through your verbal communication skills. I'm going to say that again. To get what you want through your verbal communication skills. So this means that when you're dealing with a woman, you know, through the things that you say, you're going to be able to influence her. You understand? You're going to be able to influence her to, you know, see things a different way. You're going to be able to influence a woman to, you know, think about things differently based off of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you are bestowing upon her. You feel what I'm saying? When you're out here hollering at the chick, right? You know, you know, with your verbal communication skills, having that tight mouthpiece makes it able for you to seduce a woman. You feel what I'm saying? To make her feel things through the words that you're saying, right? See, the thing is this, women are moved by words. They're moved by what you say, right? This is why women like to read romance novels and all that other stuff when they're reading the words on the paper, when they're, you know, getting these, you know, visuals in their head based off of what they're reading. It makes them feel certain things. So the same thing happens when you are out here, you know, having that mouthpiece, right? You're going to be able to seduce women by having those conversations, interacting with them, right? And the thing is, when you have that tight mouthpiece, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to get women to follow your program. You understand? So when you are out here making it happen, when you have that tight mouthpiece, it makes it easier for you to get women to follow your program. Because when you're influencing her, right, by the things that you're saying, it's going to make her want to follow your lead. It's going to make her want to, you know, follow where you're going and be in your situation. She's going to want to be part of your program because, you know, from the things that you're saying, that's making her basically want to, like, you know, make it happen with you. You understand? So that's what it means to have a tight mouthpiece. Right now, I want to talk about why is it important to have a tight mouthpiece? Why is it important to have a tight mouthpiece? Now, the reason why it's important is because you can get what you want from women on a consistent basis. You can get what you want from women on a consistent basis. See, like I was saying earlier, when you have that tight mouthpiece, you're able to influence girls, seduce them, get them to follow your program, right? So what happens is because your mouthpiece is so tight, you're able to get what you want from women consistently because you know how to communicate with women in a way to get them to feel those feelings, to get them to be on board with what you're trying to do. See, the thing is this, when your mouthpiece isn't tight, what happens is that a lot of times you'll get things going with women by chance, meaning like, you know, you meet a girl here and there, you'll try to talk to her, you know, things will flow, you understand, a little bit, you know, in the direction that it needs to go. But what happens is because you don't really know what you're doing and because you're just sort of like winging it, you feel what I'm saying? you get certain things popping off, but it doesn't happen consistently. So what I mean is, you know, your mouthpiece isn't tight enough to where you can go out, you know, every weekend and pull something. You understand what I'm saying? At least 9 times out of 10, you'll pull something, because sometimes, you know, there's going to be times where it's not going to go down no matter what, but there's going to be times where it's going to happen more often than not because you have that mouthpiece. You understand? Your game gets that advanced to the point where you can actually pull chicks on a consistent basis. You feel what I'm saying? See, the thing that I noticed once my mouthpiece got tighter is that when I would go out to, you know, events, different, you know, bars, clubs, whatever it was, right? I would go out to these places. And what I would notice is that the tighter my mouthpiece became, the easier it became to actually get these chicks to really want to fuck with me. You feel what I'm saying? So it went from me, you know, going out, you know, just sort of like here and there getting chicks, to me going out and the first girl that I talk to, it's a wrap. You feel what I'm saying? She's down. And that's from improving the mouthpiece. And what happened was it was happening consistently. I remember one time I was actually going out to some spot, and I was all dressed real, my clothes is real tight, smelling good, feeling good. So I'm expecting to just, you know, chill out there all night, interacting with chicks, getting it popping, getting a bunch of numbers and making out with chicks, and then probably get one of the girls home with me that night. So that was the plan, because I actually wanted to stay out. I wanted to stay out for a long period of time. And also I was meeting one of my boys there, right? So we was going to chill and, you know, kick it. So what happened was, is when I got there to the spot, right, I started talking to this girl. And we were talking for maybe like 25, 30 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? And my boy, he didn't even get there yet. He was on his way. You feel me? And so I got the chick so hooked that she was ready to take me, you know, back to her spot. And this was the first girl I talked to. And mind you, at that time, at that moment, that night, I was ready to like chill all night and, you know, and just be outside and do what I got to do. But this chick, you know, I'm talking to her. She was bad. I was like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to get this shit popping. And then, so the funny part was, as soon as my boy came, that's when she was like, you know, ready to make it happen. So she was like, yo, you want to come to my place? I'm like, all right, cool. And then I text my boy. He was just coming in. He was like, yo, I'm coming in right now. And I said, bro, I'm about to bounce. I'm about to get it popping with this chick. And he saw me. He just gave me a pound and was like, yo, do your thing, player. You feel what I'm saying? So, but that all came from the mouthpiece. Like, the mouthpiece got so strong that all I was doing was going out there, and it was literally like the first and second girl in most cases that I talked to, and then it was on. So I even became more pickier about the girls I'm going to talk to, because I was like, damn, you know, I usually end up getting with the first and second girl that I talk to during the night. So I was like, let me, you know, pick the hottest chick I see and go at it. And then usually I would get her because the mouthpiece was tight. You feel what I'm saying? It was tight. So that was happening consistently, where I would go out, meet a chick, we end up making out, and then we end up leaving a spot consistently off of the mouthpiece, right? So that's why it's important to have that tight mouthpiece, is because you can get what you want from women on a consistent basis, okay? On a consistent basis. Now we're going to move into the 4 ways to have a tighter mouthpiece. The 4 ways to have a tighter mouthpiece. So this is the thing. What I wanted to do for this program is I wanted to point out 4 different ways to have a tight mouthpiece, to tighten your mouthpiece, to be in certain situations where, you know, you can be able to use certain things to make shit happen in you know, in a beneficial way for you when it comes to you dealing with the mouthpiece, right? Now, these 4 things are in no order of importance, right? But I'm gonna go through, you know, 1 through 4, and we're gonna talk about each of these. And the thing is, with each of these things, you know, I put in, you know, a lot of things in some parts of this program. So again, like I said,
you guys are going to have to take some notes, listen to this like, a bunch of times, because I want you to really get what I'm talking about here. Now, a lot of this stuff isn't difficult or anything, but some of this stuff that I'm about to say in this program is stuff that you most likely have never heard before. You understand? And so this is stuff that took me years to, master, to understand, to get. You understand? And so I want you guys to pay close attention to what I'm saying and make sure that once you get it and once you understand it, that you start to use this while you're interacting with women, while you're talking with them. All right? So the first thing we're going to talk about, the first way to have a tighter mouthpiece, is to use statements instead of questions. Use statements instead of questions. So what am I talking about here, right? So using statements instead of questions is basically telling a woman something instead of asking her about something. All right? Telling a woman something instead of asking her about something. And so when you do this, what happens is that women are usually more receptive to you when you are using statements instead of questions. Because what happens is it shows more leadership, which makes you more attractive, which makes them sort of gravitate to you more. You understand? So you have to use statements instead of questions. So I'm going to give you guys some examples. So first example is, instead of saying, "Can I get your number?" you say, "Give me your number." Okay? Instead of saying, "Can I get your number?" you say, "Give me your number." Second example, instead of saying, "Do you want to go to the movies?" say, "We're going to the movies." Instead of saying, "Do you want to go to the movies?" say, "We're going to the movies." Third example, instead of saying, "What do you want to do?" say, "We're going to do this or that," whatever it is. Instead of saying, "What do you want to do?" say, "We're going to do this or that," right? So what you have to understand is this, is that slight little thing of switching it up is going to make a big difference. Because what you have to understand about women is that women respond to leadership. And, when it comes to leadership, that's a very masculine trait to have. And so through what you're saying, you're displaying something. See, when you say, like, let's say, you're trying to get a girl's number and you're like, "Hey, can I get your number?" It sounds very, very like passive, very weak. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, "Hey, give me your number," or "Hey, put my number in your phone," or whatever. You understand? But you're making statements. You're not asking questions. You're not asking her for anything. You're not asking her to make decisions, right? So when you say, do you want to go to the movies? You are asking her to, make the decision. Instead of you just saying, "Hey, we're going to the movies. Get your bag and get your, your coat. We're going to the movies." You understand what I'm saying? It's a very masculine way to interact with a woman. You understand? If you're asking her, "What do you want to do?" And this is what a lot of guys say. Let's say if they're, I've seen this a lot where guys are going to go on a date with a woman. And instead of telling the woman, "Hey, we're going to, go to this bar over here," they're talking to the girl and they're like, "Hey, I want to take you out, let's go out, let's chill." And then she's like, "Oh, cool. So what do you have in mind?" And you're like, and then you say to her, "Well, what do you want to do?" No, you don't do that. You understand what I'm saying? You say, "Hey, listen, we're going to go over here. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that." You understand? And so understanding that using statements instead of questions, understanding that, that's a more powerful, way to go about it when you're, having conversations with women, right? When you know that and you use that and you do that, you're going to actually have more success with these women. Because this is the thing, a lot of guys don't realize that, their behavior and the way they act and how they do things, it affects how a woman sees you. You understand? And so a lot of times you're going to have a lot of beta males out here asking women all these questions and, sounding weak and all this other stuff. And then you come along and you're, displaying that masculine energy, that masculine quality. That is going to make it, to where she's going to, feel feeling. She's going to feel that energy. And this is just based off of what you're saying. You're just saying things. And based off of how you say things and what you're saying, you know, it's going to make a difference in how she's going to respond to you. So it's very important to use statements instead of questions, you know, when you're interacting with these women. Now, that's the first way to have a tighter mouthpiece. Now, this next thing that I'm going to talk about, oh my Jesus, this right here, this next thing I'm going to talk about, this next way to, you know, have a tighter mouthpiece is something that most guys probably have never heard before or have never thought about. But this is extremely important. I would say that this next thing is probably the most important thing on the list. You understand what I'm saying? But what I want you to understand is that this next thing I'm going to talk about is extremely, extremely, extremely important when it comes to having a tight mouthpiece. You understand? And if you don't understand this, you're probably losing a big percentage of how important the mouthpiece is, right? So now, the next thing that we have on the list is